Good morning, good afternoon, or wherever you're joining me from. Welcome back to Too Ambitious. I'm so happy that you all are here today. In case you didn't know, I'm Trish Lindo, and I am the host and producer of Too Ambitious. This is a show that celebrates Black women and women of color founders who are changing the game. These women are phenomenal and they are innovators, they're change makers, disruptors, and you probably would have guessed they're ambitious too. So let me know in the comments where you're joining me from, because today I have someone who is talking about all things AI and how you can implement it into your business. Now, before we get into the conversation, I should introduce her, right? Let me tell you. So, today, I am joined by the Sherpa for human centered AI adoption, Tanqueray Edwards. That's right. She's the founder and CEO of TR Edwards Consultancy. Now, Tanqueray leverages her engineering background to help businesses unlock the power of AI by removing the fears of implementation and adoption. Now, she's a successful mom of three. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering Technology, MBA. Got to make that distinction. She's also a Scrum Master, a product owner, PMP, LEED, we have to ask her what all of these mean, but they're super important. Lean enterprise professional, and she's also a Six Sigma black belt. Now, yesterday I had some comments on the promotion for having Tanqueray on the show, and someone thought that she was actually a black belt, but no, she is not. That means something totally different. So definitely let's welcome Tanqueray to our show. Give her some love, light up the comments. Welcome, Tanqueray. How
Hey,
are you
hey, how are
today?
you guys? I am well. I am well. Thank you so much for having me. I love the enthusiasm and excitement.
I'm just happy that you are here, and you can tell us a little bit about you and your business and all the changes that you're making, with these businesses. Like I said, so just quickly. So yeah, someone in the comments yesterday they really did think, they were like, what does that mean? Like she's like a black man. So tell us what lean Six Sigma black belt means.
Yeah, so it is a industry standard for process improvement, right? When I think about ways in which you can improve your business, there are credentials for that, and so you can either get like a green belt, a yellow belt, a black belt, and it's widely known in the manufacturing industry primarily, but then there's a lot of other industries as well that want to have efficiencies. So, people will study to get those certifications and get that black belt. So, no, not a jujitsu or karate black belt, but a process
Right.
improvement black
Okay.
belt.
Love that. Thank you for clearing that up. The more you know, folks, the more
Yeah.
you know. I'm learning as well. I had a guest on last year that had the same one as well. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like, what? And then she told me what it was too. So good to know. All right. So, Tanqueray, in your own words, tell me a little about the work that you do through your consultancy, TR Edwards Consultancy. Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again for having me on your
Yay.
show. One, I wanted to just kind of give you your flowers. You are the number one LinkedIn
Yeah.
live show, and I am honored to be here. So thank you
You're
for
so
having me.
welcome.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it. So our company is really centered around empowering businesses to adopt AI, right? We want to thrive in this age of AI. And I pause there a little bit because we also help companies with other technology implementations. But in recent months, like 8 to 9 months, we've been leaning in on AI adoption. And so we want to be that bridge between this, transformative solution. And I know everyone says it, but it is true. It's going to change the way we do
Yeah, it already has.
everything. So we want to be that bridge.
Yeah.
It already has the way we learn, the way we cook,
Yeah.
the way we do everything. At least for me. um, so I want to be that bridge between, a company having a great idea and I need to implement AI to facilitate that idea, or I want to be more operationally efficient, or I want to augment my team members with more tools, right? And so we want to help them get there. What is, pairing that strategic vision with, practically, what does it look like for you as a business to implement
Mm.
AI? So that's what we do. We help with AI strategy development. We help with the adoption. And I say that a lot because I come from a change management background, and that is very, very important for me. It's a bit of that process improvement. So it doesn't make sense to improve where your journey and then we're not tracking if people are really using the new tools. Do they understand how to use the tools? Are they even aware? So the adoption is
Yeah.
critical, and we take some time in the beginning to set up those types of metrics, and we track those things along during the
Okay.
implementation, right? And then we really focus on, the change leadership, like what's the sponsorship messaging
Nice.
around it? How do we get people to partner, to engage and feel less like something is happening
Yeah.
to them? So that's a bit about what we do at TR Edwards
Yeah, and
Consultancy.
thank you for that overview, but let's take a couple of steps back. How did you sort of, develop this belief in the power of transformation? When we think about, people who start businesses, you didn't always work for yourself. So how did you get here? Why this journey?
Yeah, it's a great question. How did I get here? So I've had a very diverse career background. I started as an engineer, and that's very traditional designing, building. And then I moved into construction management. I still own a construction company as well, and we partner to bring together some of this AI content specifically for commercial real estate professionals, project managers, and construction managers. But I really want to bridge and, bring together all of my skill set and bring
Yeah.
it forward. I know that, AI has impacted the way I work, the way I live. And so it was really, really important for me to not only talk the talk, but just transform my
Yeah.
business model. And as I was transitioning out of corporate a few years ago, I was thinking to myself, what is it that I really would be excited to do? And it is to help other organizations transform. I really specialize in lean in with small to
Okay.
mid-size, because I do feel like in this digital age, there is a tendency to get left behind. And in fact, in South Carolina, 94% of the economy is driven by small
Mm.
businesses.
Yeah, that's a huge
It's a lot.
number given that so many changes
Mhm.
are happening in our country right now, those businesses will be impacted. So, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So my intent is to focus there to really make sure that they are prepared for what's coming. And I think personally, when I think about, you asked the question, how did I come up with this deep belief in transformation? And it was the career pieces and transforming myself from engineer to tech, right? And then it's just personally, my father was in the military, and we spent a number of years moving from one state to the next, to the next, to the next. And so I am, not only a Sherpa for AI, but I am a ninja for packing up. Like, I can pack up a house in a weekend and make it
Love that.
happen. And that also, like, creates this need for you to,
Yeah,
get in where
embrace
you fit in,
change.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Embrace change, meet new people, be able to have robust conversations or not. Like, so I've had to transform a lot
Yes.
in my life personally. And I think that just kind of sparks that interest in like helping others transform, as well.
Yeah. When we talk about change, we know that it's never easy, and a lot of people find it difficult to embrace it. But it's so necessary for growth, though. You know. And,
Yes.
the work that you're doing, you're coming into these organizations and you are trying to push them forward. You are getting them to accept the change, especially of what is happening right now in the tech industry. You've also said that the core problem for most businesses isn't just training, it's the drinking from the fire hose culture. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because I would assume when you go into these organizations, it ain't easy. Yeah.
No, no. Sometimes, leaders, and it's not always the negative.
Right.
Sometimes there's
Yeah.
positive environments that you step into because leaders have primed their team members on what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. They may even bring together a small team and you're partnering, right? And that ideally, that's how I
Right.
love to work. I want to partner. I want to make sure that the things we are considering are tied to your strategic plan. We're not just out there, and that there is a small group of team members who are involved in the
Right.
conversations. But yeah, it is absolutely, in my mind, it's absolutely essential to, you know, just take a step back and think about ways in which we can bring those individuals
Yeah.
along to have a successful
Mhm.
implementation. Um, One example that's kind of coming to mind for me in a recent engagement, at a client, the sponsor was like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And I'm like, let's take a step
Yeah.
back. Let's pause. And can I talk to the team? And, in leaning in and talking with the team, that's when I really understood that, one, if we start this engagement today, I'm not going to be embraced with open
Mm.
arms, because that there's clearly hasn't been any
Right.
conversation. No one is aware, and so sometimes and I pride myself on that. That's the, being falling in love with the problem and not just jumping to this is
Right.
what we're going to do. And falling in love with the problem also means I need to nurture some relationships, and it may mean that I have to,
Right.
push pause on
Yeah.
that contract and take a step back and really get people more aware of what's coming and get them in alignment and also get
Yeah.
them talking, because what the leader might want is 9 times out of 10 not what the organization is
Mm.
interested in or may even help the
Yes, I love
organization.
that. So it all
Yeah.
comes back to communication and talking to each other. It
Yes, yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Is there a particular industry that you're focused on?
Yeah, in recent months, I've been focusing on construction, project management
Okay.
professionals, and
Okay.
commercial real estate. But as everyone is aware, like AI cuts through so many
Yeah.
different industries. But I really love the technical side of my brain and this new digital piece that's developing, as well as um, the change perspective. Like I want to bring all those different pieces together. So I have intentionally focused on those areas because that's where I have the most
Mhm.
experiences, as well as
Mm, okay.
hospitality. So I was an executive, um, a Fortune 500 executive in the space of commercial real estate, construction, hospitality. And so I want to, bring those pieces to this company, and then to continue to nurture that
Yeah.
through AI, right? I want to speak to what I know. I want to be able to roll up my sleeves and say, hey, this is what I experienced. This is what I think AI can
Mhm.
help you with, and be able to tell those tangible
Yeah.
stories. So that's why I'm leaning in on those particular
Yeah.
industries right now. But again, that may change
Exactly.
as opportunities come about. But that's where we've seen a lot of traction in
Yeah.
recent
And
months.
when we talk about AI, what tools exactly are you using? Or is it programs that you've created? What does that look like? What do those tools actually look like, and what are they when you go into these companies?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it really is going to be dependent. So my general kind of administrative office AI
Mhm.
toolkit are, what most of us use, the Chat
Mhm.
GPT, but not
Yeah.
just in general, but really getting people to understand that I can create a chat. right? And I can have it more
Right.
personalized. And I also, and I want to say this out loud, make sure that you're subscribing to these tools so you have a little bit of ownership. There's less of risk of your, your materials going to
Right.
the cloud, right? You have, you can save the files, you can upload files. So with Chat GPT, you can have chats. With Gemini is another one in my go-to. You can have
Yeah.
gems, right? And you can save like your brand, your voice, and continue to go back to those gems and
Yeah.
refine your messaging. So there's Asana for PMs. There's ClickUp for PMs as well. ClickUp is similar to
Yeah. Yeah.
Monday.com. It's a
Yep. Love
scheduling
Monday.
tool. I like those, yes, because they're layering in AI that's digestible. It's not like a total revamp
Right.
of their systems. And even Microsoft Project has an AI
Yeah.
component, right? So I try to really, meet
Yeah.
people where they are and look at tools that they're currently using, and then maybe we incorporate some that have a little bit more AI
Mhm.
component. And then there's like the blow your mind kind of things where we might need to develop some
Okay.
Zapiers. And if your audience is not aware of Zapiers, it's a tool that can sit in the middle, if you will. So this is the
Mhm.
process mind, that process mapping. It may sit in the middle of your Gmail and maybe your
Yeah.
website. So your website is pulling in contacts. And as an example, if you went to my website today, there's a free AI playbook that's on there. If you put your information in to get that playbook, you're going to get an automated message saying thank you, and you're going to get a link to the
Okay.
playbook. That's a Zapier. So I built a Zapier to help with that
Mhm.
automation. And so there's things like that that my company helps support as well. So it really just depends on what your strategic
Right.
goals are. What is it that you're tactically trying to do, and then what tool we're going
Yeah.
to select. But those would be some of the ones that are more widely
Yeah.
used, I believe. And then, like I said, for the project manager, the construction manager, and the commercial real estate professional, there are specific tools that I would recommend most
Yeah.
definitely. And then I I probably would want to mention one other. It's Gamma
Okay.
AI. It is my go-to for pitch decks and
Gamma AI.
presentations.
I'm writing this down.
Gamma AI, yes, love it. Like you can create, say you wanted to do a little bit of a teaser for today's live, you can create an outline for it. You put it in Gamma AI, and it will
Mhm.
produce a nice little image for your social feed, whether it's Instagram,
Mhm.
Facebook, or LinkedIn. And you may need to go in and do the little tweaks here and there, but it is clutch, especially if you're doing presentations day in and day out.
Yeah. Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I haven't used that one. I did just implement, Notion, into my Gmail, and I'm already like, "I don't know why I've taken this why
Why
haven't I
haven't I
done
done this?
this? You know? And
Yeah.
I, like, use Notion
Yeah.
for other things, but I just never use, like, the Gmail tool, to, like, organize my
Yep.
inbox.
Yep.
It's a mess, guys. It needed to be done. So, don't judge me. But,
Yep.
when you use it, you realize that you're like, "This is, like, blowing my mind." Like, and I feel like there's a lot
Yep.
of people out there
Yep.
who probably are nervous about when you come in and they use it, and then, what is that reaction like? When you come in, you're like, okay, here are the changes. They're like, whoa.
Yeah, and I try to take that team approach and that partnering approach. Let's take a look at what are your top 3 to 5 strategic priorities. So whatever we implement, we are going to align with strategic priorities. And if we don't have a strategic plan, I have a great business partner that can come in and help you with that strategic
Yeah,
plan, because we don't want to spend monies or resources on something that's not going to grow. Or if you want to grow, if you want to scale, if you want to get to
right,
the next market, if you want to increase sales by X or Z, like we got to be
right.
implementing tools, right, that are getting you there, that are moving the needle in that direction. So all of that to say, we look at the strategic plan, then we align our AI solutions. And that helps with some of that,
Yeah,
fear. There's no other way to, it's fear, right? And then I try to just practically take them through examples of how it might work. We look at real life use cases where I've implemented it, or if I haven't implemented a solution, I also take them through use cases that others may have implemented. Because I have to be honest, like the AI solutions are changing every single day. No one could say they have implemented and used
Right.
everything, right? So there are times where I need to, source, some use cases. So we'll do that and we just get them
Yeah.
comfortable with what it is that they'll be using, and then I provide them with some training. So I have a training partner as well. We can do
Right.
formal training to make sure that they're
Yeah.
getting it.
And thank you for sharing that and making that distinction as well, because you're right, it is changing all the time. How do you keep up with all of these, Tanqueray?
A
Okay.
Zapier, oddly enough. So I wrote myself a Zapier. I read probably 6 to 10 AI articles
Okay.
daily, and it becomes a lot. And I know that this is what my clients are feeling. They're feeling the sense of overwhelm. It's so much information. Where
Yeah.
do I get started? So I honestly built myself a Zapier where I'm aggregating all of these
Yeah.
feeds into one little newsletter that comes to
Yeah.
me daily, and then it'll summarize it, and then I just read through it, and if something piques my interest, then I'll dig a little deeper. I'll go specifically to that article and read more and look at the resources that
Right.
they've cited. And that helps me, and those are little tidbits that you could leverage in your
Yeah.
personal to kind of keep you up to date on this journey, because it's not a
Right.
sprint. Even with the AI roadmap that we would develop, we're not going to implement
Yeah.
everything on day one. We're going to take our time, and we may implement some things over the course of
Right.
several months. All of that to say, like, you've got to be in it and have that right mindset of, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm
Yeah.
evolving. And so I need to be learning along the way. And so I too learn, like, I look at
Yeah.
this daily and see what's changing in the
Yeah,
marketplace.
and also too, we have some folks that are watching, and thank you everybody for joining the conversation. Tajma Van Buren says Zapier is so robust. So yeah, she's agreeing with you as well. Implementing those
Yeah.
Zapier. I wrote that one down too. I've heard of Zapier, but I haven't used that either. Shayna is saying I love using Gamma AI for making my decks. So I'm going to be using that today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
Shayna,
Yeah.
and Janaid, thank you for the love on that as well. So, you've got so many people who are excited about AI and, the possibilities of it. What's your take as an industry leader, in what our future looks like with AI in place,
Yeah. So the optimist in me is really, really excited about all that's going to evolve, but I have to be also pretty realistic. Like, the change is happening
Yeah,
so fast. It is hard for people to embrace, to get up to speed. What I will share is, like, start with something.
yeah,
Start now. Start learning a new tool. If it's Monday.com, if it's Zapier, or maybe it's just, let me open up a chat
right.
GPT account and start building my own GPTs, right? Just so that I can be focused in on learning one new tool. Maybe I'm learning how to prompt better. There's so many different
Yeah,
facets of it. But I do know, if you're not leaning into these solutions, personally and professionally, you're going to be
yeah,
left behind. And I'm not saying that to sell more business. None of that. It's just the
right.
reality of where um,
Yeah,
tech is going, where the economy is going. Like, the tools have proven to be so useful. Like, why wouldn't we not
right.
use them? And I think about some construction examples that come to mind. When I was an estimator for a construction company, I was an estimator and a project manager. We wore two hats. I would spend weeks estimating a job, like a 20,000 square foot job site, you're actually going plan by plan, looking at all the details, counting all the things. And so you can leverage AI to do some of that work for you and reduce that amount of time. And then you get your proposal to your client sooner. Then you get awarded work sooner. Then I could start working. I could start paying people. It is a game changer.
Yes.
And so I would ask, listeners to really lean in today, start now, start with something, because the ones who are able to use it and use it well are going to have
Yeah,
longevity,
absolutely.
personally or professionally.
Yeah, and Shayna agrees too. I 100% agree with that statement. Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for that, Shayna. It is one of those things too that, we hear so many people are losing their jobs or fear of losing their jobs to AI. And, it seems to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you are up to speed and keeping, learning the new skills, you will be, just as valuable when we talk about the future of work, but if you stagnate and don't sort of, start making those changes right now for your career and personally as well, you'll be left behind. Yeah,
You're
you're
at
at
risk.
risk, and that could impact your
Yep.
job, you know. Um,
Yep. I absolutely agree. It could impact your job, how you navigate the community, like all of the things could negatively impact you. But I think, again, start now. Start with something small, practical. It could be a recipe for tonight. It could be scheduled for next week. It could be, again, something work related. Maybe I want to draft some emails. Maybe I want to leverage some of the AI solutions that are embedded in our Word products or our Microsoft products. But
yeah.
start now. Start now.
Well, thank you for that. And you just recently created some programs too that can help. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a series of 60-minute informational sessions that I am gearing towards project managers, construction professionals, contractors, and commercial real estate professionals as well, where you can come in and learn specific tools to those industries. And think about it, like project management cuts across so many different industries. So if you're navigating any type of projects, you can come in that 60-minute session, no cost to you. You learn, you go and take back what you've learned and immediately apply it. And to me,
Yeah,
that's a win-win,
absolutely.
right? So that's an offering that's coming out starting May
Okay.
6th. It'll be virtual, and then May 8th is the one for contractors and construction professionals. And then later on in the month, I'll have the one specific to commercial real estate
Wow, that's
professionals.
awesome. Great resources there. And, if you want to find it, you can find it on Tanqueray's LinkedIn profile page. So follow her if you want to stay up to date with all the
Yes.
latest AI, if you want to take one of her classes. I think, I mean, the value that you're providing is extraordinary. So thank you for that. But let's switch gears a little bit.
You're
Yeah, let's switch
welcome.
gears a little bit quickly because we have just a few minutes left. You also have a podcast, Tanqueray and Christy on the Rocks. Tell us a little bit about that and why should we, listen to that too? It doesn't have anything to do with AI though, right?
We talk about all things corporate. So it's technically Christy and
Okay.
Tanqueray on the Rocks. It's a little bit of play
Okay.
on my name and
Clever.
Christy as well. So we talk about what's your favorite drink that you want to have on the rocks. And then we talk about, corporate spaces and how we improve them, whether that's through
Yeah.
technology or increasing our emotional intelligence and really bringing true leadership to our organizations, regardless of
Right.
shape or size. So you can find us on all platforms. We'd love to have your listenership there. And if you're interested in being a guest, reach out to
Yes,
me.
I love that. Do you consider yourself ambitious, Tanqueray?
Oh, yes, very much so. Always have been. And it is, in some lights, it was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
negative, right? But, um, now that I'm older, more mature, and I'm really living in who I'm supposed to be and showing up
Yes.
authentically, yes, I'm ambitious. I'm too
Yeah.
ambitious. It's good.
It
It's a good
is.
thing.
It is.
Um, it keeps me motivated and excited about
Yes,
life.
and, also too, you have 3 daughters, so, you're paving the way for them. They must look at you and be like, "Wow,
I
mom is a
have
god,"
to.
you know?
I
Yeah.
have to. I have to, and that is a big part of the being too ambitious, too
Yeah.
bold, because I do have little ones who are watching me, and I want to make sure that I am blazing a path that they can follow right behind and do more abundantly, right? I want them to do even more than I've been able to accomplish over my years. So, yeah, absolutely. Got to do it for the
Yes,
girls.
absolutely. All right, well, thank you so much for that, Tanqueray. Where can we find you? Where can we stay connected with you?
Yeah, so I am primarily on LinkedIn. So if you look up the Tanqueray Edwards on LinkedIn, follow me there. I post a lot of great content on AI. In recent months, I've taken a knack to studying Black history, specifically in Charleston, South
Mm.
Carolina. So I do have posts there. You get to know a little bit about me and my family and kind of follow our journey. But yeah, that's where you can find
I
me.
love it. That's right, everyone. Follow her on LinkedIn because you have to stay up to date on what's going on with AI. You do not want to be left behind because being left behind, frankly, is lonely. So make sure that you're following Tangeray. And thank you, Shayna, leading with boldness.
I
Yeah,
love
I
that,
love
Shayna.
that. With that said, I want to thank you again for your time and sharing your knowledge with us about AI. Is super important for all of us to stay up to date on what's happening in tech and artificial intelligence because it's not going anywhere. So, yeah,
No, no, the
yeah,
change is
it is.
here.
The future is now, you know.
The
It's
future
now.
is now.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again, Tangeray, for being with us today. We'll continue to follow your journey on LinkedIn. And, I'm sure that you are going to continue to be just a force in this future of AI and what it looks like. We don't see enough of our faces, our Black women in this space. And I love that you're a voice. I love that you are someone who is a change maker and you're here to tell us what's possible. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate the time and you sharing your platform with me
Absolutely.
today.
All right, everyone. We thank you so much for taking your time to join Too Ambitious today. I'll be back next week. That's right, next week. So you'll have to come back with another incredible woman who is a game changer and who is a disruptor as well. And if you love these conversations, make sure you like and share my videos. And I will see you next week.